Death kills the internet. Dante, can you turn off that noise? I'm trying to autopsy a murder victim, shouted the local coroner and king of the Grim Reapers at his assistant, Dante, who was listening to heavy metal music loudly in the morgue. It's not noise, it's music, Dante said. I can't hear myself thinking, complained the king, frustrated. Kill the music, or I will. I'm on a break, Blake, protested Dante. Go have a break somewhere else? Blake moaned. I can't, I'm on the computer surfing the net, said Dante. Blake walked into the office from the autopsy room. Turn it off, Blake screamed, and the computer blew up. Thanks, a lot, Blake, Dante snapped back at Blake, very annoyed. Blake felt guilty for killing the work computer. He looked at his phone nervously, noting he had no bars of internet. He thought it was a coincidence. He returned to his autopsy. Lunch came, and he grabbed a book and went to the hospital cafe for lunch and to read the book. Hi Dad, said Blake's son, seeing him walking out of a room as a Grim Reaper. Lance? Why are you here like that? Asked Blake. I'm doing Reaper duties, said Lance. What are you doing up here? You live in the morgue. I'm going for lunch, said Blake. What are you reading? Lance asked. Caffeine for the Soul by Page Turner. Not sure I like it, it's a bit dark, said Blake. Oh? Said Lance, enjoy your lunch. Blake left his son and went to the cafe. It was empty, and the cafe staff sat playing with their phones and reading books. Blake walked up to one of the staff members, who was playing solitaire on their phone. Hello, is lunch off then? Blake asked. We lost the internet, so we can't accept payments, said the staff member. Aren't your phones online? Blake asked. No, we're running offline. The internet is down everywhere, said the staffer. Blake returned to the morgue, seeing more Reapers doing their duties. On his way he felt terrible. He realized what was happening. The internet devices connected to the nurse stations were down, and the nurses weren't able to save the dying. So people were just dying and the Reapers came. He blamed himself for killing the internet. He sat in the morgue quietly reading his book. Meanwhile, Dante slowly went crazy. The computer had his to-do list on it, and he didn't know what to do. Blake had to tell him to go collect the dead as a Reaper. Blake would stand guard and man the morgue. He soon went stir-crazy and put the book away. He returned to work. His mind was haunted with doubt and worry. Had he actually killed the internet, or was it just a coincidence? He felt worse and worse when he had an unwanted guest in the morgue. Jack, go away, I'm working, said Blake to the guest. What are you doing here, Dr. Death? People are dropping like flies in the hospital, said Jack. You are needed. I know, Blake said, feeling like mud. Come with me, said Jack. Why this time? Blake asked. We need you to tell us who needs help before they die, said Jack. You need a tame Reaper, to hunt the dying? Blake said. Jack knew who Blake was. Yes, said Jack. Blake sadly wandered off to do his errand of mercy. On the way, he saw Dante in his Reaper form. One's dead in there, said Blake sadly, pointing at the room Dante left. Jack took note of the room and they walked on to the nurse station. What's Dr. Death doing here? Asked a nurse. Blake was called Dr. Death at the hospital as a coroner. I am his smelling death dog, moaned Blake, depressed. His what? Asked a nurse, puzzled. I smell dead people, moaned Blake. Are you a magician? Asked the nurse. Something like that. Blake moaned. What are you? Asked the nurse. Necromancer, said Blake. You hear there is a telco outage. Apparently they got hacked and turned off the net and mobile phone networks, said the not surprised nurse. Hacked? Blake said. A weight lifted from his chest and mind. It wasn't him. He never felt better to hear someone was hacked in his life. He knew he had a lot of work to do to help the doctors save people his Reapers were taking. He was right.